Okay, so I got some of the parts from the IT boxed up. Now I'm going to work on the gas tank. Going to work on redoing that tank. So I know there's hundreds of different ways for redoing gas tanks. I done it with knives, like a knife where you just scrape off the layer. It's actually what I did on this one here. So you can see some ugly scratches from over the years, but you can see some of the ugliness is already coming back into this one. This has been outside for 5 years. You can see it's starting to come back. I gave this a rough kind of finish to it real quick because I'm going to be rocker guarding that because it's just, in my opinion, too far gone. I kind of heated it up, kind of straightened out all the lumps and bumps and stuff. Yeah, I know I could probably shine that up if I wanted to, but rocker guard it black and then paint it, or just leave it black. Anyway, so for the gas tank, what I'm going to do is sand it down, wet sand it with air sander, and see how that looks. I don't really want to take a knife to it. I actually tried on the other side here. It doesn't seem to be very thick whatsoever. So basically with a knife, well, this knife here is a two-handed freaking knife. Piece of crunch. This one here, I'll start up here. Basically what I do normally is just drag it sideways like this. For some reason it's not working the best today. There we go. And again, I'm using the side of the blade more or less. Anyway, after that, you can use a heat gun. I prefer to use a torch. So, but now I'm going to actually wet sand it and take a look at how that turns out. I have done one like that before because this is so thin that I'm thinking wet sanding will probably look a bit better and won't take off as much. So I'll give that a try and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so my two weapons of choice, Mac finishing sander. Probably be using this. And I got a oscillating Princess Auto $39 special. So I'll use this and then this for finishing. Sweet. And I just gotta show you how yummy this looks. Look at the inside of that. Holy hey. Try to get a little bit better of a close up on it. Yeah, look at the greenness to that. Anyway, I'm going to replace this. I got a brand new one in the box. Also got brand new screws. So I'm going to be using this stuff here. I can't remember how many grit. Feels like about 240. And this stuff here I believe looks like 120, or actually that's probably 80. So probably won't be using the 80, but I'll be using this stuff. So got it on a big ass roll there. Works great. Anyway, put this aside here and set up and see how it's going to turn out. Sweet. Note to self, next time double check that the tank is not full of water. Yes, that's water, not gas, thank God. So, this is coming out of the cap too. So anyway, I got my dish for the wet sanding. Set up the tripod and try to get maybe a little bit of a video shot of doing it. Sweet. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is take a chair that I never sit on. Take my water dish, put that on a chair. And if it leaks, it's not a chair I sit on. So anyway, take this, dip it in the water. Get it nice and full of water. And go nuts. And of course I'm going on full bore. This thing has multiple different settings. That's low. It's a finishing sander. It needs a lot more water. A lot more water. Too much dust. But you can see right there, I just sanded that area. You can see that it's no need to use a knife this time. Yeah, this is actually turning out pretty good. Yeah, you can actually see the factory Yamaha decal still. You can see on this side there's one, so not for long. Should have plugged up that pretty quick. has a mixture of gas, so give me a second just to wipe down the table. Anyway, you can kind of see how it's coming along. I'll continue at her, and I'll show you before I take a torch to it how it looks. You can see it's coming off super easy. A little bit of coloring there, but that'll be fine. Anyway, give you guys an update in a few minutes on it. One more thing I thought I would just say, with an air sander, this normally only takes about an hour, so it goes pretty freaking quick. Okay, so I ended up switching it to 80 grit, which I normally don't go this much, but you can see there's still a little bit of a greenish tint. So that's why I switched it up a bit. So after this I'll go to 180, then I'll go back to 220. So anyway, just thought I'd kind of show how it's coming along here. It's not too bad. I got still lots more to do on this side and on the bottom and the base. Anyway, maybe I'll videotape for a few minutes while I do it. Give it time to dry. And okay. That's pretty good up at the top, a little bit of greenish tint here. Of course, I'm going slowly because I don't want a chance burning through anywhere or making any weak spots. Green still, it's not too bad. I think the rest will come out with polishing and the heat. Of course, I still got to do down here big time. Never even did there yet. And it's got a bunch of dirt on it. Okay, get back to you guys in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm done sanding it now with 220. Look at that, even my fingers leave marks on it. Anyway, there you have it. Now I'm going to give it a shot of 600 and some water. So anyway, show you what that looks like in a little bit. Maybe I'll zoom in a bit on here. Not sure how well that's focusing, but it's looking pretty good. I never bothered too much around here because it gets hidden by the seat. If that is not even in the footage, but there you go. So anyway, it's a little bit of greenish still right here, but pretty sure once I right there, I mean. Pretty sure once I start polishing it, it will probably blend in pretty decent, I'm hoping. Again, this is not going to be a show bike. It's just, you know, put back together. So I don't want to take too much off this tank. I'd rather leave a little bit so I could always shave it down later if I wanted to. Okay, so there you go. I actually never had 600 grit. I ended up having a, what was it, 300 or 320, I guess. So anyway, you get the slight little marks on it, but the heat gun should take those out. Now, yeah, you could leave your tank like that if you wanted to, but in my opinion, if you don't use a heat gun or a heat source, you don't seal the tank. That's just the way I find it. So I'm going to grab my heat gun here real quick and give it a shot. Going to give it time for my heat gun to warm up. It's a Master Craft one. Now you could start on a shitty spot, depending on if you've done this before. You can see it's starting to whiten up. That's because it's starting to dry, but in my opinion, this, you can see, starts drying it pretty much instantly. Not sure how well that's showing up, but anyway, here goes nothing. And you want to keep on moving, and once you see it start to gloss up, that's good enough. Don't go anymore. You can try to go a little bit more. You can see there how it's starting to gloss up. Not sure how well that's showing up. Try to zoom in here maybe a bit. So you can see right here it started to gloss up a little bit. Again, this is a very mild heat gun. This is not a hot heat gun. It's almost probably dead if you ask me, but and don't touch it. You touch it, you'll leave a fingerprint if you get it hot enough, that is. Anyway, you can see how it's going to look. You can kind of see the difference between there and there, kind of a line right here. A hotter heat gun will make it look a lot better. I might actually take a torch over it because, in my opinion, this just isn't really hot enough. See, that's low, just to let you know. That's high. I've been burnt out or overheated a few too many times. Yeah, you can see all the elements are on in it. I don't want to aim it at the camera for more than that. And again, this ain't going to build up too much pressure in here, I know. So, because it can vent out the bottom. Because I don't have anything in the bottom. Because believe it or not, it is probably making quite a bit of heat in here. You can see where I accidentally touched for a second, it left the mark. Yeah, you don't want that. Got a bit of green happening right here. Turn it up so you can see it. So I'll probably end up sanding that a bit more, maybe, hard to say. Oh yeah, there's some heat coming out of here at the top where I got my finger. I could feel the heat. So of course now I can leave it low. Just remember, if you're going to block, the only reason why I'm blocking this is to keep the stinky gas fumes from killing me. So of course I got it venting right here where this is loose now. And again, I got it open on the bottom right here where it's nice and dirty. So anyway, you guys see the point. I'll show you once it's done, and I'll probably have to go over it 2 or 3 times by the looks of it. Thought I'd give you another show close up here how good it does. I can tell I'm going to probably end up sanding this one more time after, but it doesn't do any harm using a heat gun, in my opinion, in between layers, because all it's going to do is kind of bring the lumps and scratches, kind of fill them in a bit. So up at the top here, it seems to be nice and shiny, so it's getting a little bit warm, so I'll probably stop for a bit. Okay, so here's where I'm going to leave it for today. I went over it once. You can actually see where the old stickers still were. I'm not sure how that's showing up. Especially on this side here, you can really see it. So, but that's no big deal. I'll recover them with the same stickers again. It's the Yamaha on the side that kind of written there. I tried going the second time, and you can see here it started to burn. Gave it more gloss, but it started to burn it. So I'm not going to go anymore. What I am going to do now is pick up some proper sandpaper. I'm going to give it a real nice smooth wet sanding and then use the heat gun again. So, but at least now I can kind of see where it needs sanding more and where it doesn't. So I can see a little bit more up there. So, but man, is that dirty inside that tank. There's all kinds of weird stuff I can see floating around inside there. So anyway, put her up beside that other one and let it sit there overnight, and hopefully tomorrow I'll hopefully it didn't get chewed up on that flywheel, but anyway, tomorrow I'll pick up something to hopefully wet sand it a little bit better, because all I have left here is 180 and like 320. So, and actually I'm starting to think the stuff I used probably wasn't 320, it's probably more like 240 grit, so because it seemed a little bit rough. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for today. Sweet. Okay, so I just got back from Princess Auto and picked up some sanding sponges. So I'm going to finish wet sanding the tank. You can see now, I went over it with the heat gun, but it's still not perfect. It's still pretty rough, which I knew because I didn't have fine sandpaper. This is assorted, so this one here, it doesn't say how many grit, but this one here feels like about 320 maybe. This one's a little bit rougher, this one's rougher, and this one's roughest. So it was a variety pack, that's pretty much all they say. This was like $5, so it wasn't much. So anyway, I'll start wet sanding it. Finish watching Spike TV, Police Chase. Or Police Shootout, whatever the hell it's called, World's Wildest, something like that. Anyway, I'll get back to you guys once I'm done working or sanding this again, and then after that I'm going to play with that. Anyway, sweet. Okay, so it's pretty good now. The rest of it should come out with the heat gun. Very nice and smooth. This tank overall was in great shape. A little bit of blue, greenish tint on the bottom here, but I'm not too worried about that. Again, I don't want to take too much off this tank. I want to kind of keep it so it can be sanded down again someday. So, yeah. Show you what happens now after the heat gun. Okay, so tank is done. Just gave it a final hit with 600 grit and then took the heat gun back to it. There's still a few imperfections, but again, I don't want to take too much off it. You can still see where the stickers will go. It's still imprinted in there. Anyway, that's pretty much ready to go. And what we're going to do now is we're going to remove my freaking shag. This shit right here, that's like that long, and this. Yes, I'm going to finally get rid of this shit. Right, old man? You're finally going to tie me down and freaking remove my freaking mop? Finally. None of these have been used in about 3 years. Because normally we go and we pay to get it done, but now I'm just too embarrassed to bring this in to get it cut. So I have to do it at home. Holy fuck, who the hell is this goof, hey? Look at this. What the hell happened here? You're freaking meant to leave it 1.5 inches thick, you jackass. Friggin' 1.5 inches thick. No, the razor fucked up. It kept on dying, and basically, yeah. That was my excuse anyway. Yeah, that's what he excused. So anyway, this here is about as thick as a pencil. Like, what the frick? It's freaking minus 35 outside Celsius, and you freaking shaved me. Well, now I don't have to do it for 6 months. Yeah, well, anyway, shit happens. Okay, so I'm back from the car wash. Washed out that tank the best I can. Then this is the gas that came out of my old tank, because I had to get the valve off the bottom from that tank, because the one that was on here was just shot. So you can see that's specks of tar right there that came out of this this tank, because I just finished washing it. Pressure washer barely got anything out of it, so you can see more of the specks on the side, but I cleaned most of them off. Just use gas to clean them. So this is my old tank. You can see where it cracked right here. that's pressure that cracked it. And you can actually see the cap that's cracked right there in front of my finger there. That's all from too much pressure on a hot day, because the hose here somehow got pinched in between the handlebars and I didn't catch it. And it was also leaking right there under that silicone, which was the major leak. The top one here, I wasn't too worried. I just wouldn't fill up the tank past the halfway mark. And it actually, even when I did fill it all the way up, I didn't worry about it because it's such a little seep. That's how much gas I took out of it. And it hasn't leaked out over the winter. That, yes, is tar. Sticky, gooey tar. Ugh, hiccups. Tar from two-stroke gas being dried up, which was inside that tank. I got all of it out now. It's nice and clean on the inside. Put the old valve back on this one. So this tank here is ready for the trash. I'm just going to pop off. Well, even these are pretty chewed up. There's really not much on there I could use. But anyway, maybe I'll just toss it in the junk pile. I will keep some of the hardware off it, I guess. Remember that big chunk being missing, or chunk taken out, but that's probably just from storing it. This tank was like brand new looking. Now you can see it's pretty bad from sitting over the years. So there's some wear marks here from something rusting up against it. You can actually see on the back here all the crackage happening from age. So that again wasn't like that, but 10 years sitting outside in the hot sun. I used to always keep gas in it, but I'd always start it up every year and drive it a bit. But that gas in there is 2 years old. Now that is mixed with a bit of arsol. That's why it's so black. Because I tried cleaning out the tank first of all with Varsol and it would not remove the tar. So I dumped old Varsol into there, and then I dumped the gas from here into there. So gasoline, of course, is what ended up cleaning it, but I thought I'd give it a try with Varsol first. So yeah, that one's all ready to go on. I just gave it a quick wash. Just got some water in here. Squirt bottle full of water. So just give it a quick rinse. Just try to get off any of that tar. Gasoline I rinsed it with, but then after water to try to get off the gas. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing it in the back of my truck is I don't want to do it on the floor. And I don't want to do it outside where the dog can chew on the snow that has gas in it. So you can see there's gas everywhere from pouring gas, whatever. But that's not too big of a deal on the back of my truck. I could shovel that out and get rid of it some other day, or just let it melt. So I always have stuff leaking gas in the back of this truck. So that I gotta go get rid of. That's not too big of a deal. And I guess now I'll put on the tank, or the seat bracket, and the tank brackets, and I'll get this one here ready to be reassembled. Yeah, I never bothered about the sanding the yellowness off the bottom here. I wasn't too worried about that. No one's going to really see it. Again, I didn't want to take too much off this tank because I'd prefer to leave enough that it could always be sanded down again. So anyway, and because the rest of the bike doesn't look that nice, so no point in having a very nice shiny tank when the rest of the bike's not going to be. So anyway, I guess I'll reassemble that. Well, that's the way she's sitting for today. Gas tank is physically installed. Just got to hook up the fuel line once I find where to cut it. Not too worried about that. I think I'm going to actually change out the wiring harness because I picked up one that's in a lot nicer shape than that one. That one has the tail light wiring is cut off it. So, but other than that, it's in great shape, I guess. But this time I am going to be reinstalling the tail light. Anyway, that's where I'm going to save it for now. Early next month, I should have the other little tiny parts that I need for the throttle to get that set up. And I am going to take off the trees and give them a quick sandblast, put on the different fork rubber gaiters, and go from there. Sweet.